How is gender equality in Islam? In Quranic verse, Surah At-Tauriyat verse 56, women and men are both equal as the servant. The translation of the verse is, and I, Allah, created not the jinns and humans as that they should worship me, Lord. Okay, according to this verse, there is no disparity between man and woman in the capacity as the servant. Both have the same potentials and opportunities to become the ideal servant. The ideal servant in Quran is usually referred to as the devoted individual, muttaqun, and there is no difference in sex, nation, or certain ethnic to reach this muttaqun level. And the second one is Surah Al-An'am, verse 165. Women and men are the caliph on earth. The capacity of human as the caliph upon the earth is emphasized, and it is he who has made your successors upon the earth and has raised some of you above others in degrees of rank, that he may try you through what he has given you. Indeed, your Lord is swift in penalty, but indeed he is forgiving and merciful. In this verse, the word Khalifah does not refer to a specific sex, indicating that both men and women have the same role as the Caliph. Islam decides the parts of the body that has to be covered by both genders in what is considered the limits of aura and has to be covered during prayer and while mixing with people who are not forbidden in marriage. One of the purposes of dressing is to cover the shame of both male and female. The wisdom of hijab is to preserve modesty and protect women from the harassment of men and vice versa. It will also save men from being sexually aroused by women, which might lead to sexual harassment.
Misconceptions about Muslim women. There have been many misconceptions about the real role of Muslim women in Islam. Many people view Islam as a religion that oppresses women. Most non-Muslims who are completely unacquainted with the teachings of Islam tend to paint Islam with a brutal brush. From the general perception that Muslim women are oppressed to specific misperceptions around education, marital rights, and freedom, the stereotypes are many, diverse, and widely held. The issue of women in Islam is a topic of great misunderstanding and distortion due partly to a lack of understanding, but also partly due to misconduct of some Muslims who have been taken to represent the teachings of Islam, such as Aminah Wadud, Rifat Hassan, Fatimah Meningsi, and Zainah Anwar.
As the title of Aminah Wadud's book, Quran and Women, reading the sacred text from a woman's perspective implies, she employs the science of hermeneutic to focus on reinterpreting the Quran from a woman's perspective. Her book shows how the idea of men being superior to women is incorrect due to a true lack of understanding of the Quran as a consequence of not knowing the intricacies of the Arabic language. In this case, on the imamah of women of mixed congregational prayers in the mosque, Wadud strongly asserts that Muslim women possess all rights to lead mixed congregational prayers and to present the Friday sermons in the mosque. She declares that she seeks to reform the role of women as spiritual leaders. For example, on 18 March 2005, Wadud led Friday prayers in New York City and Synod House at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine and Episcopal Church in Manhattan. Her sermon centered on the idea that men and women should treat each other as equals and not presume Allah to be male. Women and men both are necessary and central to Allah's plan of creation, and both have the capacity to reach moral excellence, she said. She also said that the service she was leading was only one aspect of emphasizing the belief in the reality that women are equal under Islam. Lastly, Yusuf Al-Qaradawi said that the body movement of a woman in front of men would distract their attention, and this would disturb the man's prayer. Certainly, this would hardly look appropriate and acceptable from the Islamic point of view. This is one of the reasons why women cannot lead the prayer for a group of both genders.
Correlated to the current issue about rape by Sharlina Abdul Rashid in the website news or article, Stop Bullying Women, rape has nothing to do with outright. In other way round, Ridwan T. Abdullah claimed today the woman's body attract rapists, and he also said today that covering up one's awrat does not guarantee protection from rape, but stressed that it was merely a preventive measure. It is not only women, men also have their own responsibility on this topic. There was one ustad saying that women who doesn't cover up deserve to be sexually abused and raped.
Perempuan tu aurat memang layak lah dicampur dari zina orang.
What is he saying is ignorant. The reason women covering aurat is because of Allah, and the wisdom behind it is because we will protect them from any harm like rape and sexual harassment.
Important roles of both gender in Islam. Historically, women in almost every society were subjugated, oppressed, and deemed inferior to men. The role of women oftentimes centered around fulfilling traditional gender role expectations. There was very little room for women in the public sphere, and their role was often reduced to serving men. Allah SWT make it clear about the relationship between men and women. Allah SWT frames the genders as partners rather than rivals. He states that the believing men and the believing women are allies of one another. This is stated in Quran. Both sexes are responsible for establishing a healthy family and a just society. Both are also equally rewarded for the good they do. Furthermore, our Creator tells us that He has given preference to men in some situations and preference to women in other situations, so as to teach us not to want what Allah SWT has given the other. Also in the Quran, they stated that men are in charge of women by rights of what Allah has given one over the other, and what they spend for maintenance from their wealth. So righteous women are devoutly obedient, guarding in the husband's absence what Allah would have them guard.